It was the devastating fire people were fearing and the most destructive fire they ever saw.
Ladies and gentlemen, please leave this area. Leave it now.
Erupting from San Marcos Pass at Painted Cave Road on June 27, 1990. A massive blowtorch of flames driven by 75-mile-an-hour winds and temperatures over 100 degrees took aim at the Goleta Valley west of Santa Barbara. Our anchors Debbie Davison and King Harris warned residents of the peril ahead.
It has been a hellish afternoon for firefighters in the Santa Barbara County. Another fire has now broken out near the Painted Cave area.
And then it made this incredible sound, this roaring noise. It sounded like a bunch of express trains going down.
Painted Cave resident Ted Adams was on the pass when the flames broke out.
And then when it jumped the freeway, all bets were off.
The fire was furious for hours.
From then on, it was just a chaotic, very humbling night.
Chief Eric Peterson was in his third year as a firefighter. He saw nearly 500 houses, apartment complexes, businesses, and other structures destroyed.
It was kind of uncharted territory for everybody that was working that day. I think it's safe to say that there are very few people who had ever seen anything like that.
Really spreading. And the white smoke down below there is a separate fire from earlier.
Yeah, that's there on San Roque?
It looks like San Marcos Pass.
How about over here? Is there a fire over here, or is that just the smoke?
No, that's just all that.
It's just all the smoke now. Dude, that thing just started less than half an hour ago.
Oh, that's going to get way out of control.
It is already out of control. We would have been up here earlier, we would have been a lot better view.
There was a wind that preceded the fire, and when I felt that coming on us, then I knew that it was get out or die.
This is fire up at Painted Cave. A lot of smoke and flame is showing from Fairview and 101. Lincoln 1, meet me on Freak 1. This thing really has the potential of really being bad. Rush 24. We have heavy black smoke showing. Looks like it's in heavy fuel. Flame height's probably about 15 feet. Heavy black smoke. Height of the flames about 15 feet. Heavy. Dick, are you copying the size up 24s and the reports 1 to 2 acres in heavy brush? This will be the paint incident. Coordinations will take that over. You'll be paint command. Also, we got any air tankers?
I kicked open the front door of my house, turned on the light switch, but the power had all been burned out from the area. So it was pitch black inside the house. I knew I had only a few seconds in which to grab something of value. I looked around, really groped, felt around for something that I could take. I put a couple of items under my arms, ran up the hillside, and encountered a fireman running down the street. The look on this fireman's face, I will never forget. It was one of total terror. The fireman, I figured, was someone who had been through fires many times before, would not have this particular look. He knew something really, really bad was happening and was going to happen. He told me, drop everything you have and run for your life.
I wanted to see whether I owned a house or not, so a friend of mine took his son's mountain bike, and he borrowed a bike from somebody, and we rode back up into the fire area. And that was real eerie. There were still places that were going up even then, and this was at 1:30 at night, that were still burning. But most of the area was just kind of like what you picture a scene after war would be like, a little twig burning here, an ember here. There was a lot of gas jets that were lighting up. I mean, it was dark that night.
He said they were like
They just lit, you didn't need a flashlight or anything. Everything was still well lit by what was still burning up there, and there was water running down the street from all the broken water pipes and everything. And it was real quiet. You didn't hear any animal life at all, and you really didn't hear the fire. And it was kind of eerie riding your bike up there and just seeing house after house not there anymore. And then we got to our house and it wasn't there.
Turned the corner and it was gone.
It was gone.
Across several western states today, the all-too-familiar colors of the season flame red and orange as fires feed on the region's hot, dry conditions. Thousands of acres have been blackened in Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Texas. Some of the worst fires are in California. An arson blaze stretching from Santa Barbara to San Diego has prompted Governor George Deukmejian to declare a state of emergency. CNN's Ann McDermott is in Santa Barbara, and she joins us now with a live report. Ann?
Well, Gene, just a little while ago, we got a report about a Forest Service Department helicopter that went down. We are told, according to the Sheriff's Department here, that the pilot, the only one on board, is all right. That helicopter was involved in the firefighting effort here. Now, there are still some hot spots. There's plenty of smoke to be seen in the sky around Santa Barbara, but much of the fire that swept down and razed these neighborhoods is now under control and virtually out, as in this neighborhood, for example. Now, for the first time, people are coming out, checking through the rubble, taking care of whatever it is they can, salvaging what they can. Indeed, the past 24 hours was a day they will never forget. The people in this neighborhood got out with their lives and little else. One young man lost a treasured baseball autographed by Sandy Koufax, but he did save his father's Cadillac by driving it out himself.
Had you ever driven the car before?
No. Only 12.
Was that scary?
Well, no, the power steering's nice.
The next morning, we heard on the radio that some people were being allowed to go up. So at around noontime, my wife and I drove over to Tucker's Grove Park area, and the fire was still raging on parts of the area, but not our immediate. And with the proper identification, they led us up the hill, and it was amazing. The first part of the street, when you start climbing up San Antonio Creek Road, the houses were fine. And then you make one turn, and all of a sudden, nothing was there. And the images that came to my mind really was this was just like a war zone. There was nothing left. Things were smoldering. It was just like a major bomb had hit and destroyed everything. I was not prepared to see what we saw. And so we continued to drive, and everywhere we looked, there wasn't anything left, just smoldering rubble. We got to our street and drove down, and in front of our house was a white picket fence, and it was still there. And I remember stopping the car for a moment thinking, this is incredible. Somehow everything survived. This can't be true, but this is something else. Drove a little further, realizing it wasn't true, that just the fence survived, and that was the only thing left of our house, was our white picket fence. It was an indescribable feeling, knowing that we had lived in this house for 13 years, and there was nothing left but dust. The only thing standing was the picket fence, the one wall to a shower, and the water heater, and part of the chimney. Knowing just 24 hours before, everything we had and loved was in the house.
And I looked over around the corner, and the house wasn't there. I looked for my house wasn't there. I looked around, and nothing was there. There was one recreational trailer that for some reason didn't get touched on the hillside way up above, where there weren't many bushes, but the rest of it was gone. Everything else was gone.